So, as you guys know, when it comes to NBA players routinely by the media, they're asked for their top 5 players of all time, top 10 players, who's the GOAT, and their all-time starting lineup. And most recently, you had rising star SGA give his all-time starting 5 lineup, including Allen Iverson at the 1, Kobe at the 2, Jordan at the 3, KD at the 4, and Shaq at the 5. I would say a pretty decent starting 5. Not the 5 I would choose, but a lot of fans of the starting 5, they were really outraged, as some of the noticeable absences include Steph Curry, Magic, and of course, LeBron James. And before I continue, I think it's important to note, an all-time starting 5 lineup isn't the 5 best players in NBA history, it is purely a starting 5 lineup. Now, regardless of that fact, a lot of NBA fans, mainly LeBron James fans, got heated that he wasn't included. And look, fair enough, as even for me personally, I'd have LeBron James at the 3 in my starting 5 lineup. And add even more context for SGA, this guy growing up and even now is a massive Kobe fan. And like many of us growing up, Kobe for our era, he was the guy and the player you rooted for 24/7. So to call SGA some sort of LeBron James hater, it's completely off base. And actually, he's more critical of Michael Jordan in comparison to LeBron James and Kobe.
Kobe is Michael Jordan, just on a steroids.
You're talking about skills.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about best player.
Kobe has 5 rings. What's your argument?
All around.
And I'm saying all around, Kobe Bryant.
Bro, it's LeBron. Okay.
No.
If we're talking about skill.
Now look, stopping it right there, of course, I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. As much as I love his game, the player he was, the overall notion that he was MJ on steroids, I really don't buy into that. As player for player, I think Jordan pretty clearly was the better overall guy. The one thing I will entertain though, is that Kobe's offensive arsenal, his overall skills on the offensive end, were actually more polished and impressive than Michael Jordan. That doesn't mean he was MJ on steroids, but aesthetically wise, you could argue Kobe was actually better to watch. As looking at them player for player, scoring wise, Jordan, every single metric, was better than Kobe, more efficient. Kobe could score in bunches more explosive a score, but overall scoring Jordan definitely clears him. I would argue Jordan also, the better overall team player, passer, and playmaker, making the guys around him actually better players. And of course on the defensive end, Jordan, a better shot blocker, better in the passing lanes, and is overall more athletic, stronger, and more physical defender in the 1990s. The thing Kobe has on Jordan, in my view and many people's view, is the footwork aspect and the little niche things here and there that make Kobe so special. For one, knocking down extremely difficult shots in the clutch and the fourth quarter. I don't think I've seen a player before or since who's hit more difficult shots than Kobe Bean Bryant. But like I said earlier, that one niche kind of role doesn't make him better than Jordan or Jordan on steroids. And looking at SJ's overall logic, saying Kobe has 5 rings in a Jordan vs. Kobe debate is kind of a crucial misstep, as the guy from Chicago has 6 championships, 2 three-peats, winning those 6 in 8 years. And Jordan, unfortunately unlike Kobe, was best player on his team every single time in the finals. And if you want to talk NBA Finals play, who was a better final performer, the Mamba or the GOAT, it's really not a debate. As Kobe's overall stats, while still highly impressive, they're not on Jordan's level, averaging 25 points, 5.7 assists, 5.1 boards, on pretty impressive 41-31 and 85 splits. And if you want to look at Kobe's worst ever finals series, that is by far the 04 finals versus Detroit. As many would argue, even Kobe himself, in that series his shot chucking cost LA a 4th championship. Was he as bad as LeBron in 2011? I wouldn't go that far, but in the 04 finals Kobe was definitely pretty bad for superstar standards.
There's nothing you can't. Competitive nature, championship. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Remember I told you that. 4.
I think you're saying Jordan is third because it's documentary. If LeBron dropped the documentary today, you'd say LeBron's the GOAT.
Bron's still
You
second.
say that.
Bron's still second, bro. Kobe 1, Bron 2, Mike 3.
Now, this last clip right here is clear-cut proof SGA isn't some anti-LeBron player who has an agenda against him. As if anything, he's more anti-Jordan against the 90s in his era than anything. As very few players, people, and media members actually rank Jordan third all time. And look, the order of Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan can be debated all day long. But having Kobe 1, Jordan 3, then LeBron 2 in the middle, that logic right there I find a little bit iffy, as SGA's overall criteria comes down to competitive nature and championships. If that's your criteria, championships, competitive nature, I would think Jordan at the worst would be 2, ahead of LeBron James, maybe behind Kobe. But even off that, Jordan's 6 championships being the best player in the finals every single time. That trumps Kobe and his final performances. And of course, overall competitiveness, all 3 of these guys were killers and ruthless in the big time moments. But if I'm going to rank them based on competitiveness, I'll go Jordan 1, Kobe 1B, and LeBron 3. Again, that's SGA's criteria, not mine. But even with that criteria, the overall rankings don't really add up. And still staying with SGA's criteria of championships, if you look at each of Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron's worst finals performance, Kobe from 04, LeBron from 2011, and Jordan 96, there's definitely one outlier that isn't nearly as bad as the other one. As Jordan 96 not only won that championship, won the series, but played drastically better than the other 2 players. As Jordan 96 versus the Sonics, who won 64 games, the best in the West, had a peak Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp under 400 pounds. That was some pretty stiff competition. And despite that, Jordan still averaged 27 points, 5 boards, 4 assists on 42% shooting. Compared to Kobe and LeBron's worst final series, Jordan's worst was still drastically better than those 2 players. And if you want to do the inverse really quickly, look at their best final performance, I would again argue Jordan, his peak in the finals was much, much higher. As in 91, averaged 31.1 points, 11.4 assists, 6.6 boards on 55.8% shooting. Of course, winning that series in 5 games versus the Lakers. LeBron in 2016, nearly 30 points, 11 boards, 9 assists on 49% shooting, coming back from down 3-1. And then Kobe in 09, having his best final series, averaging 32.4 points, more than Jordan and LeBron, 7.4 assists, 5.6 boards on 43% shooting. Of course, all 3 players had great final series where they won the championship. But I think Jordan's overall dominance on both ends of the floor, the teammate help he had compared to LeBron, not so much Kobe, wasn't as much. And to make a larger overall point, if you want to rank the greatest final series of all time, 91, 92, 93, I would even say 98 Jordan, all in that top 10, top 15, tier 1 status of a GOAT final series. And look, Kobe and LeBron also, they have some great series in that top 15. But the difference is, Jordan's peak in the finals was just as high, if not higher than those guys, and his worst moments, his lows, were drastically higher than Kobe and LeBron's lows. Hopefully it's not too confusing, hopefully I worded that right. That's kind of my overall point of why Jordan was the greatest player of all time and better than LeBron and Kobe. And looking past all the comparisons, SGA's starting 5 lineup, I think the worst take in this video was actually from SGA's camper who was debating him on these topics. As this guy actually argued, SGA's overall opinion was swayed so much by The Last Dance that is the only reason he put Jordan as high as number 3. If you think a documentary of a player 20 years after they played has such a drastic influence in debates, I think you're a little bit lost in the overall conversation of NBA debates, as Michael Jordan's legacy pre-Last Dance, post-Last Dance, nothing changed. He didn't win more championships, more MVPs from 2019 to 2021. The Last Dance doc, as good as it was, as great as it was, had no impact on Jordan's legacy or his overall resume. So that right there is the end of the video. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.